Go.
Okay, so I'll just pull this very kind gentleman away from his coffee and various things because he said he's in the apps and games business, and I know nothing about that business at all. And so tell us who you are first of all, and what's your experience in this type of business area?
Sure, so my name's Christian. I'm originally from Preston. I got involved in this business 20 years ago, before apps were a category. Apps, nobody really knew what an app was. And this was at a time where people would obtain a mobile phone. It would be set with the current settings of the handset, and everybody had the same ringtone. The company that I represented back then was creative enough to be able to have some technology that allowed you to change that ringtone, and indeed change the cover of the display on the handset. And as things mature, you can download games, or as we know them now as applications. It's probably a time that has been forgotten almost, as it's ubiquitous now. When you buy a phone, the first thing you do is you use your camera to upload a picture of you and your family. So none of this having to buy things. And then when I was in the early days, anything that you displayed on the phone you had to purchase, whereas now it's all open source, it's all free. And with that, there was a huge rise in new opportunities for people to get involved in providing or building solutions for the mobile phone. And that's what I do, and that's who I work with. So I work with some of the world's leading game developers, people that have developed a game or an application from their own back bedroom, and gone on to become extremely well known in the market, and provide us the tools that we now use today. So that's who I am, and that's what I do.
And are you a programmer as well?
I don't profess to be a programmer. I know a little bit about code. I can't write code. I love mathematics, which for anybody that knows me from school would probably find that questionable. But no, I do find it completely fascinating when you can sit with these guys that can understand code and create you something from a dimension that you would not expect from a few taps of the keyboard. But being able now to, it's not necessarily all about having to program, because there's tools out there, widgets out there that you can drag and drop, and it can create it in a framework for you. So you don't necessarily have to be a coder. So no, I'm not a coder. I love listening to people that can talk about code and how they can manage and create these wonderful applications. So that's the side that I like.
Because one of the reasons that I'm interested in this area is that, as you can see, I'm very old, but once upon a time, people were very critical about all the micro businesses in the UK, which this is all about, 5.6 million of us, if you like. And a lot of people are a bit disparaging about people setting up businesses, really. And one of the things that we do is recognise how great it is for them to start something and create something out of nothing, and build their own business and earn their own living out of that. It's fantastic. And a word has been said in different kind of things about kind of lifestyle businesses, and lots of people turning hobbies into businesses and various things. So they used to say that all the new businesses are aromatherapists many years ago, kind of thing. Now they say all the new businesses are app developers, kind of thing. Because a bit like Anthony, they're really keen on doing things like that. But how, if you were advice, because today's all about giving people practical tips that would actually help them succeed in different sectors. I've just been talking to somebody who set up a market stall with greengrocery. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's about practical tips and to help me. So if I was setting up a business and I was looking to develop some apps and make some money out of it, what would be your advice to actually getting to understand the sector that you've been in for all of these years, really, so that you could actually make some money out of it?
Well, to start with, it's nothing unfamiliar to my industry than what it is on on the basics.
Yeah.
You know, to
Yeah.
have that idea,
Yeah.
and to continue in believing that you can effectively deliver that. How would you do that for a mobile application? Well, you know, typically there's platforms out there that you can't necessarily put your idea in, and it's a sausage box and it creates it for you. But there are certain applications or organisations like Anthony's here that provide tools that allow you then to go on and effectively develop your application. But it's not just about developing the application, because then you've got to apply all of the traditional techniques of marketing.
And who would you be
Finance.
marketing to?
Generally the end user, but again, you know, it's how you find those users. So it's you know, your traditional, you know, whether it be regional advertising, local advertising. In our industry, there's two forms of finding that, and that's dependent on what device it is that you have. Because if you have an Apple device, you're not going to be downloading a Google app. You need to go to the iOS store. So if you're looking for to create an idea, you know, the first place would be to have a look in there if there's already an app.
Yeah, if there's one there.
That's been developed, and if there is, you know, could you make it better?
So you were saying something like 2,000 solitaire apps.
Yeah, and the rest. But it could be that there's some mechanic in there.
So that's
different.
really important, is to look to see if it's actually been, you know, not to go ahead kind of thing without realising what's
Market
out there
research.
already.
Have a look, and you know, see what the differences are out there. And it might be that you could improve somebody else's application. And for that respect, you know, do you go out and then spend the money on your own, or do you know, make contact with that company and try and build a relationship?
And does that happen quite a bit in the sector?
Of course,
people are actually partnering on different things.
Well, there's partnerships, there's mergers and acquisitions.
Right.
We've seen an awful lot of organisations that, you know, perhaps are specialist in one genre of building a game. But you know, at the time there might be a different genre of game that's having huge traction. Well, rather than recreate that, they'll go out and effectively buy that company. So there's a lot of evolution.
Is that the objective, really? If you're a talented app developer with an idea that it's going to create either a cracking game or a cracking productivity app, whatever it happens to be, is that the most important thing? Is that one of these larger companies actually says, yeah, we can make something out of that, or is it better to plough your own?
I don't think there's I'm
a writer, and you know, it's like, it's the difference between the self-publishing option.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the
publish yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we've got the same exact route to market in mobile. You make the decision whether you self-publish or you find a publisher. There's an awful lot of publishers out there that will take your application, and providing that, you know, there's certain KPIs to meet and match. So if your game meets those KPIs, they'll finance a test bed for publishing, and quite a few of the times, if it's successful, then you'll then allow that company with the marketing spend to effectively purchase or sub-license your product on and it could be a per territory base, it could be an amount of time in terms of that contract, or if you decide that you want to self-publish, the market is open and it's available. You can find hundreds of companies that will help you along that route.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. It's it's a very interesting area, and I think that, as I say, there are an awful lot of people that have got the idea and they've got the skill, but they've got to really do some market research, haven't they?
Market research is certainly a fundamental requirement. If you just go out and we can have a great idea in the world and we spend, I don't know,
don't fall in love with your idea too much, because it might have already been done by somebody else or whatever. So great. Okay, fantastic. And why are you here? Why are you at Microbizz Matters Day, sir?
Well, I had obviously I'm from Preston, and my best friend actually is one of the employees here.
Oh, right.
and he suggested that I, working for a Chinese company, so I'm at the moment I'm based from home,
Right.
so it's not all the time that I interact with people, other than on the telephone or via an app or email. And I like coming out to meet
some
people,
and network.
and I'm particularly interested in entrepreneurship and what people in this particular market are doing to encourage small businesses to get up, or indeed install belief in individuals that you don't have to. And again, one of the things I've picked up today is it resonates with my father used to say this to me. He said, always do something you love. And as individuals, we can fall into that trap of making sure that we finance the bills, or we have enough money to be able to do this. And for me, early on in my life, I found a wonderful thing called happiness, and I was happy in whatever it is that I did. And I find that the more that I engage with people that also have found this happiness, or they've had a break from the monotonous role of what they do, and I happen to fall into a market that has brought me eternal happiness, and I'm fortunate to travel the world and meet some amazing people. But coming back to your question about why is it that I'm here, and I think it's always good, and I've always gone back right to the beginning to start again, and to be around people that are in that phase, and I find that it builds my personality, and it allows me to develop my own self by listening to other people and finding that other people are infused to have the not necessarily the courage and the conviction in their own mind to strive and see what they deliver. Moreover, enjoy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Do.
Well, I think that that's the whole thing about it. It's a bit mad and it's a bit crazy. Is this all over? It's a big social media event, and live streaming is very important. But if on this day everybody just gets one or two things that helps them keep going, because running our own businesses is ups and downs, and it's quite difficult. So we've got to keep rediscovering the things that we love, which is your point.
Absolutely.
And one of the good ways of actually, sort of coming up with and focusing on the things we love rather than the things that we don't love, that we might find somebody else in the room that can do those things for us. It's really important.
One of the other things as well I've taken away, I mean, a victim of this myself, that my father taught me that or indeed installed in me, or it gave me the thought process that if you want a job doing properly, do it yourself. What I've picked up today is actually it's about empowering other people. I mean, I run a small sales team, highly effective.
Yeah, that has come through all the time.
And that to me was something that I've not heard people speak about. It's nobody can do the job as good as you. Actually,
no, that's going to hold you back.
Totally. I've not seen it that way before. So there's a few takeaways that I've had so far, and it's only not even lunchtime.
We'll let you get back. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Thank